All right, so I've had a request for question number 13 in the SL Chapter 7 review. I've written the basic information down here. It's not an application question. It's just A and B are events such that A has a probability of 0.3, B has a probability of 0.65, and A union B has a probability of 0.7. And then it asks us to draw a Venn diagram and then find these lovely probabilities over here. So let's go ahead and do it. We're going to start by drawing our Venn diagram. Oh, it's so pretty. Looks just like every other Venn diagram I've ever drawn. So lovely. All right, so I've got the Venn diagram. This one over here is on the left is going to be A. The one over here on the right is going to be B. Okay, now remember A is the whole part of A. So I'm not going to write in this 0.3 yet because when I label, I'm going to label these sections independently, right? B as well is this whole thing. And I'm not going to write B here because then I might get confused of whether it's just the right-hand section that's just B or if it's the whole circle. So I'm gonna leave it for now until I know what goes in each of those individual pieces. All right. Now, what I do notice is that they gave me A, B, and A union B, right? And we know from our laws of probability that the probability of A union B is equal to the probability of A plus the probability of B minus the probability of A intersect B. Now, the nice thing about A intersect B is that is this central region right here in the middle, right? So that is A intersect B. So I'm going to go ahead and solve for that. I know that the union is 0.7 because that was given to me. I know the probability of A is 0.3. Probability of B is 0.65. And then I can solve for that is what I'm looking for, right? So I should be able to solve for that. I add these two together. I got 0.7 equals 0.95 minus x. Subtract the 0.95 the other side. I get negative 0.25 equals negative x. So therefore, 0.25 is my x, which was the probability of A intersect B. So that means this section here in the middle is 0.25. Now that's great because I already know that the whole probability of A is 0.3. And if this overlapping section is 0.25, then that means that this has to be 0.05, right? Because those two add up to give me the circle of A, which is 0.3. Probability of B is 0.65. Now 0.65, right, is going to be this section over here, all of B. So I'm going to take off the 0.25 and I'm going to get 0.4. Right? And you'll notice that if I add these three together, that would be the union of A and B, which is 0.7. Now, the other thing that means, of course, because everything has to add up to a total probability of 1, is that the stuff on the outside has to be 0.3. Right? And if I add all of these together, you could have set up a formula to do that. 0.05 plus 0.25 plus 0.4 plus x equals 1. And you would have been able to solve for that thing out there. But knowing that the union is 0.7, that means everything outside of the union has to be 0.3. All right? Now that I've drawn the Venn diagram and I found out each of these individual pieces, these probabilities, piece of cake. Right? So the first thing it wants me to find is not A intersecting B. Okay, so there's a bunch of ways that you can do this, right? But I'm going to show you one way that is a surefire way of making sure that you get the right sections here. All right, now if you've got two different colors, you can do it with two different colors. If you don't have two different colors, then you can use slants in different directions, to the right, to the left, whatever is fine. So I'm going to show not A. So not A, this one is A, this one is B. So not A is everything outside of A, right? So I'm not marking anything that's inside of the A circle, but everything else is going to be marked. That's the not A. Okay, now I'm going to mark the B. The B is everything that is inside the B circle, right? Now, what it wants is the intersection. Now, the intersection is the place where the red and the blue overlap. So that would be this section right here. okay? They're not intersecting here in the middle. The outside doesn't have any blue, and this got no color at all. So it's just this piece right here. And lo and behold, we've already solved that right here. That section is 0.4. So that's 0.4. All right, let's look at A union B, okay? Or A union not B, okay? So we're going to do this again. We're going to draw another Venn diagram. Just makes it a little easier to show our work if we do it like this. Okay, so we got A and B. Okay, so we've got the probability of A. So A is everything inside this circle. Okay, the probability of not B is everything outside of B. Okay, so I got to make sure to mark every single thing that is outside of B. Okay, so I'm not doing anything inside the circle there. And then it wants the union. And union means that we want every single piece that is shaded right now. If it's got some red, we want it. If it's got red and blue, we want it. If it's got blue, we want it. Union means every piece is a part of our solution. So the only thing we don't want is that, which we just found, right? That was 0.4. So what that means is that everything else has to be the complement, 0.6. All right. The last question is a little bit easier because this one is the probability of A intersect B. A intersect B we know is already this section here in the middle. That's the intersection, but it says not that. So the opposite of 0.25. So everything outside of that, which would be 0.75. All right. So hopefully that gives you an idea of how to work with questions like this where they give you some probabilities. They could have given you some knots or some other intersection pieces. It's a good idea to take those and label them in the Venn diagram by individual sections, right? Not as overlapping sections, but as individual sections, because then you can figure out what the other pieces are. All right? So good luck, and hope that was helpful for you.